Hello, this is Mark. Wanted to do a little different intro today for the video. It's going to come out Friday. Three things I want to say real quick is first, you will see me as Mark Plowboy Green, and then of course you'll see us comment as Cedar Creek Bottoms too. That will usually be my wife doing that because I don't go log into our Cedar Creek Bottoms. So if you see me as Mark Plowboy Green, that's me. Plowboy was my nickname in the Bigfoot world, or MG. So number two, real quick, is that everything I'm telling on these experiences have been spread out over time. I want to make that clear. Every time we went to that hunting club or other places, we didn't have stuff happen all the time. So I'm taking the stuff that happened and putting it together. So this was from pretty much 2007 to present. So keep that in mind. Ain't nothing happening up there every time we go. But anyway, there was one other thing I was going to say, and I can't remember what it was now. That's
intro about the video.
Oh, intro about the video. Friday night, we went to sit with some friends up on Terrapin Creek. It was a good time for me to catch him. He was relaxed, wasn't nobody hardly around, so we sit down and talk about that. And every now and then, I'm going to do something a little different of that nature. I'm going to do something a little different. So just bear with me when that happens. Just a good time. But I'd like for you to give us a like, a subscribe, a comment, share, hit that notification button, and really comment. And if you got sightings going on or you got stuff going on around your home and you want to talk to me about it, I have an email, mgreen35151@gmail.com.
Keep going.
Or you can contact us through Cedar Creek Bottoms, and we'll get back with
Or your
you.
personal Facebook.
Or Facebook. So, well, I hope y'all have a good weekend. We'll talk with you later. Bye. This is Mark from Cedar Creek Bottoms Farmstead, Fireside Chats. And I got my friend here with me. And we're sitting up here on Terrapin Creek, up in Cherokee County, Alabama. They're going to do some kayaking tomorrow on this Terrapin Creek, and we come up and sit with them a couple of hours. So we're going to talk Bigfoot for about 10 minutes. Bradney has never seen a Bigfoot, but he might have had a few things happen. Can't say it was Bigfoot, but they were kind of strange. So I'm going to just ask him a couple of questions, let him answer them. And so I know you were telling me one time you were camped out up on Cheehaw Mountain in the upper camping area. And you want to tell me a little bit about that night? I know it didn't take but a few minutes, but go ahead and just...
Yeah, I do believe we were somewhat around the fall. It wasn't total fall yet, but I think I was staying in campsite 11 and 12, which is on the, can't remember if it's the north side or
That's
south
on the east side, ain't
or
it?
east side.
Yeah.
So we had nothing but woods back behind us. Super quiet night. Super quiet night. It was cool enough it didn't have the air conditioner running, so we had very, very low noise. And remember having a weird dream. Don't remember what it was, but I felt something play with my foot in my dream. Well, I woke up and my foot was pressed up against the edge of the tent, and I felt something graze it. Not really sure what it was, but I kind of woke up and waited for a second to see if it did it again. Didn't really hear any heavy breathing or anything out of the ordinary, but it just felt weird. Then I felt it again, and then I heard it graze the tent as well. And I proceeded to curl up in a ball and say that it's not real and try to go back to sleep.
Yeah, I remember when you told me that. It was kind of funny.
The same trip as the deer.
No, I'm gonna let him tell about that in a minute, but cause that ain't Bigfoot related, but it's still pretty cool. But well, you was actually in a pop-up camper, so the level of your feet from the ground was probably what, 4 foot, where the
It's probably pretty high just because it is off-road camper.
so probably we could probably take a coon or a
5 to
possum or
4 or 5 feet.
yeah, so you could probably take a coon or a possum out of that equation. More than likely a deer too, because a deer probably wouldn't come right up to the camper like that anyway. So it's hard to say.
No, it felt like it was purposely touching my foot.
Because your foot was kind of,
I'm tall.
well, yeah, you're tall.
I'm big.
So your foot was kind of touching the edge of it right there anyway, and it probably noticed it. It may have been, your toes may have been pushing through or something a little bit. Or,
I might have been running in my dreams since I can't do that anymore.
well, that's true. That is true. But I know you was telling me one time when you were a kid, what, around 12, 13 years old maybe, there behind your house.
I was probably a little younger than that. I think my sister was just born, and I would have been 9 or 10. I was younger. We have about, there's probably a total of 30, 40 acres back there, and it wasn't cleared out anything, just had a bunch of trails. I stayed out a little too late. Next thing I know, I was building, me and my friend Will built forts when we were younger, playing out in the woods, and I was looking for a new spot. And I noticed that it was, all of a sudden got dark quick, and the only thing that stopped me was my mother hollering at me. It was dinner time. I look up and realize that it's kind of dark, like dark. Not sure if a cloud moved over or what, but still couldn't really see very far out in the woods. I mean, it was almost night. So all I could see was the light on the trail. So I started walking back. Well, I hear something walking parallel with me. I don't know, I'm young, super young. It might have seemed like it was, I don't know, maybe 50 feet away from me. But I've been deer hunting and hunting before, and it was not a 4-legged animal, it was a 2-legged animal. And its stride was twice of mine. So, not sure what it was, but I just remember I stopped and looked out in the woods. Couldn't see nothing, but I knew I'd heard something, so I already had pretty much crapped my pants at this point. And I heard Mom call again, and I didn't want to scream, so I started walking again at a faster pace, and I heard it. It was walking with me. Well, after that, I just took off on a mad dash to the house. So I'm not sure what it was,
Right.
but just like when we met, when we first started introducing me to your Bigfoot stuff, that was come to mind of something that I might have encountered at a younger age
Possibility.
and not known anything about.
Right. And that's true, because I think a lot of people's had encounters, but they never really knew what they had an encounter with. Because, of course, we're taught not to believe Bigfoot exists. You know, science says they don't exist, but yet thousands of people see them. People have a lot of experiences, so there's something to it. And that's like I tell everybody, you know, you didn't see it, so you can't say it was Bigfoot because you don't know. Now, if you'd seen it standing there, you know, 30, 40 feet from you, and you got to look at it good, and you could say, yeah, that was a Bigfoot. So, and that's a lot of the encounters people have, is the parallel walking with you, keeping up stride with you, stopping when you stop. When you take back off walking, they'll start taking back off walking. But like you said, you didn't see it, so you don't know. And like at night at Cheehaw, I mean, you really don't know on that either. I mean, it could have been somebody. You know, you don't never know unless you actually see it. It's hard to say it was a Bigfoot, unless you're getting a lot of unless you're finding sign there like footprints and
Yeah.
stick structures, then you can lean more that way a little bit.
It's always your sixth sense that acts up, though. You feel like you
Or being
feel
watched. Yeah.
feel watched, feel something looking at you.
Right.
You I guess that all your senses enlighten when you start paying attention to your surroundings. But
True. Well, I know that's two. There's one more you had, right?
that night when I left you and Pat on the four-wheeler and I went
That's
down
right.
to the lake,
That's
turned
right.
around.
I forgot about that. Yeah.
It wasn't a loud growl, but I made this loop and the four-wheeler I idled down. As I was turning, I kind of stopped I think I just stopped to stop. But I heard something growl at me. And I don't know how to describe what kind of growl it was, but it did not sound like an animal.
Or an animal that we're accustomed to.
It was
Right.
a very, very deep growl, almost very low
Right.
tone.
Right.
Anyways, same thing. I crapped my pants and I
And left.
left on a four-wheeler.
Yeah, because you had left just a few minutes before me and Rebecca did. But you was on four-wheeler, so you could cover a lot more ground quicker than we could in a truck, especially on the hunting club. So yeah, you beat us over a good bit. Of course, if you went over toward the lake, that's one of the areas they like to hang around. And I'm not saying that, here we go again. We can't say it was a Bigfoot, but it was something there. And you ain't the first one that's been growled at up there before, so it's hard to say. You think of any other experiences that you might have had, or something strange went on that you just can't?
Go ahead.
I know this ain't Bigfoot related, but go ahead and tell about the time you was out at Pine Glen, which is in the Chockalaka Management Area, Wildlife Management Area, which is part of the Talladega National Forest. Tell a little bit about that morning when you went out there to camp out, and you had your family dog with you, and what was going on that morning.
Yeah, it was December. I'm not sure the exact date, but it was a mild December. It wasn't bad. Me and Mark used to work third shift together, so we was at work at the same time. But I got off that morning, went home, and picked the truck and the pop-up up and was going out in the woods for just a day or two. But it's going to be kind of rainy, so ended up getting out there, getting set up, and our family dog Buddy, which we acquired, I guess, when I was about 21, and was a good dog. Big, and he was getting kind of old at that time, so he ain't never been camping. I wanted to take him camping with me, so we went camping and got out in the woods, got set up, and I was gonna lay down and take a nap. So I laid in the pop-up and left the window cracked, because the angle of the tent on the pop-up, you can leave the two farthest windows open and get a draft through when it's raining, because they're at an angle, and that way Buddy could see while I took a nap. But I don't know how long I was asleep, but I was asleep for just a little bit, and Buddy was kind of blowing and huffing and puffing, and it woke me up because he's shaking the whole pop-up. And I hear a deer screaming, and at Pine Glen there's 3 bathrooms in the center. Next thing I know, I see this deer come running through the woods, and there's a little black bear chasing it. And this Buddy starts getting kind of restless then, and this deer, I see that it looks like it got gut shot. It had blood all over the place, but he was still trying to run, but you could tell he was getting tired.
Right.
And the bear was just kind of jogging behind it, but they come around the bathroom, made a loop, and just went on out. went on somewhere else. I don't know where they went. But it's just a strange thing to wake up to.
Yeah, that
and
is.
it was far enough off that even if I got the phone out at the time, it wasn't going to, pick up.
Right. That's something you don't see every day right there, especially in Alabama. I can see that out west, or maybe up the Smoky Mountains, or down in Florida where they have good populations of black bear. We don't have many here in this state. I mean, they're getting more plentiful again, but that right there would have been amazing to watch that. And that would have been real cool. So, was there anything else you think of in your past? Any other time camping or somewhere something went on just strange, just out of the normal, I know you got to go with me down to Pat's down at Ocala, which we didn't have nothing going on down there this time, but I know you and Will went kayaking on what's the name of that little river? St. John's River.
Alexander Springs.
Yeah.
Which was just a very neat little place.
Yeah.
I got about 4 foot from a crocodile or alligator.
Oh my.
Big long lizard thing with a lot of teeth.
Oh yeah.
And that was kind of we were testing each other's faith there. I'd move a little bit towards him and I'd see his leg kind of get ready to spring. So never saw any teeth, but he just stayed cool, and I just got as close as I could to him.
Well, yeah, we didn't have nothing really Bigfoot going, but it was a good trip.
Lots of ticks.
Yeah, we went at the time of the year we probably shouldn't have went. We probably should have went in February when all that ain't going on, but
February would have been nice.
Yeah. Been a little cooler too at night and stuff, and probably a little more enjoyable. But,
it wasn't bad once you got kind of laid down.
Right.
But having ticks crawl on you all night's a little unraveling.
I don't forget how many I found on me once I got home,
and they just kept
multiplying.
Multiplied the whole way home. I thought I was good, but I'd have one behind my ear somewhere.
Well, some places is a lot worse on them. And all right, sister.
She wants to be on YouTube too.
She does. She's over here. She's gonna come hug on you a while now. Well, I guess we won't keep on going. I know there's been some reports from up in this area before. I've read about them. I never have researched this area. This is an hour and a half from Sylacauga.
Oh, I do have one more.
Oh, do you? Okay.
I told you about Will's bachelor party, right? We're on Little River Canyon.
Right, yeah. Go ahead and tell that real quick. Yeah.
So, after everybody else is too intoxicated, and we got everybody back up to the cabin, I sitting down in kind of ravine. I mean, this cabin was, on the side of a cliff pretty much. We had it was easier to walk the firewood through the house and just chunk it off the back porch, and it would be at the fireplace. So it was a good steep little drop. And we were right on the water, but I felt like there was something just hanging out across, because there's no houses or anything across, and it was real thick wooded. But there was something just kind of hanging out across the street.
Across the creek.
Across the creek, yeah.
You said street.
Street, creek.
Yeah.
Same. I mean, it's a road for fish.
Yeah.
But,
there you go.
But anyways, since I was the only one out there, I proceeded to crap my pants again and walk on in the house. I was like, I do not need to be the only one out here.
Well, sometimes that's, a lot of times you do start having that sixth sense kick in that something's there looking at you or watching you or moving around. And I mean, I've had it happen multiple times up on Creepy Mountain and other places that we went and investigated. And I think it's pretty cool, even though you haven't seen one. It's just like Rebecca. She hasn't really seen one, but y'all have experienced some stuff that's not normal. So, was it Bigfoot? And we can't never say because we don't know if it was or not. But it was something pretty cool. Being growled at, there's not too many things in the woods that growl at you, unless you got it hemmed up or something.
No, not in that tone.
Right. So
I grew up watching Animal Planet, so I mean I kind of know what
coming
stuff
to you, Rebecca.
sounds like.
Yeah. So, and then, the night in the camper having something fool with your toes, and there's been other people have reported that being sleeping in tents and something kind of be reaching, feeling of them through the tent. So you ain't the first one that had that experience.
Yeah. So, and that night in Hollins, what was that, a year and a half ago?
Oh, that night we had the earthquake happen or whatever that was.
We had the earthquake happen. I didn't know what my buddy was doing on the other side of the tent, but rolled over and noticed he was dead asleep, and the camper's steadily shimming back and forth, just kind of shimmying back and forth. Weird feeling. All night, you would have nature making noises, and then everything would stop.
Yeah.
All night.
Well, there was a couple of howls late that night, way off in the distance, back up on top of Rebecca Mountain. That woke me up, and that, whatever, the earthquake or whatever we experienced that night, because everybody talked about it, I felt the ground rumble. And it was, I guess the U.S. Geological Survey, they never mentioned it. I went back and looked to see if there may have been a little earthquake or something, but they never mentioned it. So I don't know. That was strange that night.
It was weird. Now being on a camper off the ground,
right? You was on jacks and stuff too.
So it kind of amplified, the movement, and it was a back and forth. And for a second, I thought something was pushing the camper back and forth.
Right.
But it wasn't that. It was just a natural shake.
Right. That was weird that night.
It was.
I remember it woke me up.
The silence is what kept waking me up.
Yeah.
I'd wake up and it's completely quiet, and I can hear Will breathing across the other side, and that's it.
Right.
And then everything starts back in harmony eventually, starts making noise again, and just for the whole woods to stop at the same time is a kind of an eerie feeling.
It is, and a lot of times it does do that. Sometimes the animals are just hush. I've been up on the hunting club many a times, even be at the lake where the bullfrogs and all the insects would be just going wild, and all of a sudden they shut up for a few minutes. It's just like all of them, everything. You got your little night birds that make whistles at night, and and stuff like that, and they all just shut up for a few minutes, then they start back after about 10 to 15 minutes. So yeah, it is strange. That is weird. Well, I guess we're gonna get ready to go and get off here. I didn't want to wear him out too long talking. I kind of put him on the spot tonight and said, hey, you want to talk a few minutes on Creepy Mountain? So I caught him off guard for a minute. So I'm gonna let him off the hook for a while. So get back to enjoying the fire and listening to the creek and the bugs and everything else that's going on. So
good old Alabama mosquitoes.
That's it. But they ain't too bad out here right now. So
Ain't been hitting me yet.
Well, this is Mark from Cedar Creek Bottoms Farmstead, Fireside Chats, and we'll talk with you later. Bye-bye.